Frank Mondeose from the spiritualplayboy.com, coming to you today as a way to connect and to give you an update about what is going on in the spiritual Playboy world. So the first thing that I'm happy to announce is that the spiritualplayboy.com has recently had a facelift and is all updated with photos from the last year or so and new functionality. So I invite you to check out the website. There you'll find over 200 videos of my journeys around the world, meeting beautiful people, intelligent people, and super wise and sexy people. And you could follow my journeys there. As well, I have approximately 30 videos called Frank Conversations, where you can have, it's more of an interview style, as well as all the work happening on the Daring World podcast on SoundCloud and all the media streams. The Daring World podcast is where I offer more of my teachings, my offerings, whereas the spiritualplayboy.com is much more lifestyle and adventure. And so one of the reasons I'm reaching out to you today is to get some feedback from you. I'm currently in a place where I don't know what wants to happen with the spiritualplayboy.com. There is a call for it to transform, and I'm not quite clear in what direction to go. And so that is why it's been a bit slow. The content is coming out a bit slow. So I'm asking you, my audience, my fans, my followers, subscribers, what is it that you like about this channel? What is it that you like about my journeys? What would you like to see more from me? And how can I serve you better as I share with you a bit more of a slice of my life? So a few announcements in regards to what's new in my life. Firstly, as of May 2020, I was promoted as an International School of Temple Arts lead faculty. I'm really excited about this. I've been really yearning to lead these trainings, the spiritual, sexual, shamanic experience specifically. My heart is really passionate about holding the container and taking beings through a journey that I'm curating specifically for you. So that's one of the big pieces of news in my world. It's something I've been desiring for a long time, to step up into my greatest capacity to serve and lead especially in these times of uncertainty and crisis. In addition to that, as well, in end of May 2020, I was also ordained as an official shamanic minister with the Venus Rising Association for Transformation. This is another major accomplishment. I had the privilege of going through the whole Venus Rising curriculum and going through the shamanic healing initiatory process, as well as the shamanic breathwork facilitation skills training. And so on the other side of that, I am now officially facilitating shamanic breathwork trainings, as well as holding the energy of the Venus Rising Association for Transformation curriculum or offering to the world, specifically in and around SHIP, which is an amazing shamanic journey. It's a journey of 5 rites of passage, including the spiral path, family of origin work, shadow work, inner beloved work, and then sacred purpose. So I'm really excited to offer more workshops and trainings under this lineage of training as well. And I've also been invited into facilitation of the ship. So I'm really looking forward to developing more of that and offering it to you and seeing what resonates with the field here. What is the work that I'm doing that is really calling you? I really want this feedback. Another great thing that has been launched in the year 2020 is the First Steps to Remember online brotherhood journey. Due to the conditions where we weren't able to meet so much at the beginning of 2020, a call from the field was requested, and some brothers were saying, we'd love to get a dose of the Remember Brotherhood journey, but we would love to do it online and to just get a taste. So coming up in July, check out rememberjourney.com for all the details, but we are offering these First Steps to Remember, and the offering will look like 4 days, 4 hours per day, and 4 initiations or rites of passage done online. It's also an opportunity for brothers to come to sit together in times of uncertainty and crisis, to see what's up, be there, have each other's back, and to move through these moments together, not as solo lone wolves, but as brothers that could come together and can lean on each other for support. And this is the new masculine that is rising, is one that is committed, focused, present, listening, and ready to take a position and step into action when the time comes. So if that resonates with you, I really hope to see, we're targeting 40 brothers in male bodies to join us on this maiden voyage of a Remember journey. In addition, what's coming out to the online world is I'm currently in production of a couple online offerings. One will be an introduction to sexual shamanism, and which will be shorter, and another one is a birthing that's coming through me, is my work that I'm really excited to be offering you. It's in and along the topic of love, eros, and relating. So some of you may have listened or experienced the 2-hour talk I give on love, eros, and relating. If you haven't listened to that, check out the Daring World podcast on SoundCloud, or even bits and pieces of it are available on rememberjourney.com and definitely on the spiritualplayboy.com. So I've done various versions of this. And so this 2-hour talk will be blown up into like a 16-hour online training that will support individuals and or couples who are yearning to love without limits or love beyond limits. And so it's like, how do we deal with jealousy? How do we deal with relating? How do we deal with sensuality? What is love and how does it manifest and how does it want to manifest? So this is all coming up and hopefully will launch before the end of 2020. If not, it will be the beginning of 2021. And then finally, in and around the same time, I'm also very excited to plant a seed. Myself and a dear Remember brother, as well as an ISTA brother and just a dear beloved brother, GIL OREN, we have begun talking about creating an intentional, transformational community in Costa Rica, in and around San Juanillo, where Gil already owns a beautiful house and some land. And with that, we are teaming up and bringing up a greater vision, a vision of how we can come together as brothers and be stewards for the land that we are on, as well as offering and opening this land to brothers and sisters, lovers and friends, youngins and elders. We're inviting everybody to come and share in this community that we're developing. And the breakdown of this will look like certain weeks will have programming such as ISTA trainings, ship trainings, erotic experiment, and so on and so forth. And on other weeks, we will just keep them open so that tribe can come and we can live live in community experiences, and there we will have light offerings. But the idea is to allow the community to create the space and communal living and learn from each other and what gifts we have to share with each other. So much going on for me in 2020. It has been a big year. It is also a year where I'm being called to step into greater leadership, actually, not only with the organisms and organizations that I serve, but also with the way I show up in the world. In the past, I've come to you with this spiritual playboy persona and character, and this is definitely going to continue. In what form, I don't know. I'm hoping that you're going to give me some feedback. But the idea is that the whole spiritual playboy identity has to do with my online vlogs, blogs, podcasts, and so on and so forth. But with these new times that have emerged at the cusp of 2020, I've clearly recognized that these two global crises that have emerged, one being COVID and the other one being in and around civil rights and Black Lives Matter and people of color and their place in the system, and the addressing and facing of the systemic racism piece. And with that, on both topics, the commonality of those two issues emerging for me was the themes of civil liberties, choice, and freedom. And this is something that I feel is important for everybody to experience equally. And so it's due to the unfolding of these crises that the United States and Canada and North America and the world are experiencing, it has put me into a greater self-reflection of how do I want to show up in the world. I know my gifts are serving in the realm of love, eros, and relating, sensuality, sexuality, education, experiential, somatic healing. I know that my gifts are in this realm, but I also recognize that some of my specialties are mastery. I am entering into a certain level of mastery, and in and around mastery is where I want to have an impact on society. So what I have decided, as well as being the spiritual playboy and the lead facilitator of this and that and whatnot, and what's more important is that I offer my voice, my expertise, and my mastery into being nothing less than a social architect. And what does it mean to me to say that I'm showing up as a social architect? It means that where I do have mastery is where I will stand up and lend my voice to the choir and to be part of the current reforming of what is new normal, and the dose of love and groundedness and clarity around all the issues that have to do with civil liberties. And so I'm committed to transforming my privilege into leverage. And I learned this recently as I've been going through the journey of self-education and around the systemic racism piece and the class and caste systems that we still have in our modern day. And so what has emerged is that I do stand for equality, and I do stand for equal opportunity for every person. It doesn't matter what race, creed, language you speak, that everybody should have equal access to thrive on this planet. And that's my commitment. My commitment is to support individuals to thrive individually, to move through emotional wounds, blocks, or traumas so that they can expand and start to thrive in the world individually, and also stand as an ally for those disenfranchised communities that still don't have their voice or their equality. And sure, you know, North America is a land of opportunity, but we must consistently stalk our shadow and see where individually and collectively that we fall out of presence and we step into, you know, just typical indoctrination of our culture, and to push myself to go greater into understanding the plights of different individuals in different situations. So that's a bit what's alive for me in 2020, and those are the things that have unfolded. So I'm just reaching out to create a connection and to receive feedback in terms of how you've been enjoying the Spiritual Playboy or the Daring World podcast or my offerings, and how you'd like to see my offerings fine-tune to serve your needs in a better way, so that I could show up more powerfully, more attuned, and more in alignment with the people that follow me and support me. So on that note, I want to thank you all for your support, your love, your words, your commitment to witnessing me and reflecting to me. And I recognize that I am another you and you are another me. And we will only transform this planet when we are ready to do the 5 rites of shamanic rites of passage that we look at, that I spoke into earlier. As we do that work for ourselves, are we able to show up with greater power and greater impact? And yet still, individually, we must choose to connect to a collective and choose to synergize with that voice and work towards greater freedom and liberty and choice for each and every person. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking around. And as I always say, let's continue to let love free, because it's the only way we'll ever change anything. Peace. Deep respect, deep bow, and deep honoring of everything we've all been through this wild and crazy year that is 2020. I'm here for you. Reach out if you need support. I'm available for one-on-one sessions as well. I love you. Thank you. Peace.